can't win for winning. Okay. A delivery truck outside, delivering the oysters for the oyster shack next door. He just crashed my traffic cone, crushed it. A brand new one we put up like 3 days ago. All right, where are we? I saw a loot print. Yeah, it's somewhere here on my desk. I just have it a minute ago. It's the last. We've finally done. The loot series is finished from production-wise. This is the last one. And we had a caption contest, remember a while ago? The series has turned out well. They're simple prints, very, very simple prints. Nothing complex about them, just small gags. The main idea really is just to try and show people how prints can be beautiful. It's done, finished. The next, that's funny because the next subscription print is this one. Oh boy, are we behind schedule? Am I behind schedule? Am I ever behind schedule? This should have been done, should have been finished carving by the beginning of November. The subscription prints usually work 3 months in advance. For the January print, carving starts October 1st. Gets carved during the month of October. Printing starts November 1st, gets printed during the month of November. We have a 1 month pad while packing goes on and stuff like that. And we're now way, way behind. I'm about to say, what is it now? It's the end of November. Printing is supposed to start November 1st. So I'm a month behind. Which means, shut up and get to work. So what's going to happen at 8:05? Who knows? I better stand by with my finger on the trigger. $8:04. $8:04 and a half. So we're all going to sit around and watch this little piece of software. Not 8, 7, 6, 5. Silence. Just so you all know, the paper is out of the freezer. I did get the paper out this morning. It's okay. Better this than the alternative. It's okay. I would imagine that it's turned off. Is the bot itself turned on or just that one command turned off? It says user hidden, message hidden from blocked user. Okay, just a minute. Maybe I should. Printmaking bot. No, it's alive. It says here, printmaking bot. Friend. Block the report, report the bot. It's not blocked, I don't believe. Ban user, no. Timeout user, no. Mod user. How do I unblock it on my side? I've got this one, printmaking bot. If I click, it says block the bot. So it's not blocked at my side because the command is to block. If it was blocked, it would be a command that said unblock. Anyway, enough of that. I gotta get to work. Today's the day Cameron gets back. I guess he should be arriving today, this morning sometime. There's a ton of work waiting for him on his desk. I've been doing most of it, of course, during the 10 days that he's not been here. I've been doing all the order processing. You can't leave orders to sit for 10 days without being processed, especially at Christmas time, of course not. So I've been doing the order process, and it's been fun. Learning how to use that software again. Who wrote that damn stuff? The detail in this shrine here, it's too much detail for this size of print. Absolutely, it's too much detail. We've made a bit of a mistake here. It's sort of too late to go back on it now. We're just going to get this first print done and sort of take our bearings and look at what we're doing. We'll be able to get it done. It's not that we can't make the print, but the detail won't work at the size that we're going to make it. So we'll have to see. Based on this first one, we'll see how to move forward during the year. The world is running as it should. Oh, questions, questions, questions. I did. I cut them. Somebody reminded me. One of the staff did yesterday, one of the girls. 2 days ago, actually, a few days ago. The details, it's all the details here, which is too small. Just the whole, everything, the scale here, all these little lines, they'll show, if you sort of look at the print like this, they'll show, but they don't show when you're looking at, I mean, let me pop it up again. Here's the original. Look at this, what you see with this print, right? You see the shapes, the masses, the gradations. Look up on the roof. Can you see these lines? Do they make any sense? Look in the area where we're carving these things here. You can see some shapes in there, but they could be much more abstract brick blocks. Jed's cut just too much detail for this. And then the little along the end. You can't see it, I'm carving it. There's 100 little curves along the end of that row. There's no way they're going to show in the finished print, unless you get it under a microscope. It's also the other factors that are involved here when I say scale and detail. It's not just about the physical appearance of the print as well. It's about the construction of it. This is going to be a subscription print. We want to try and keep the subscription price as reasonable as possible, meaning as low as possible, whatever. The lower the price is within reason, more people will subscribe. And the longer it takes to carve, and the more it takes to print, and the more spoiled copies we have, the higher the price will have to be. So there's an economic factor involved here as well. You know? On a larger print, like for example those Heroes prints, the one we did of the Chrono Trigger design, there we don't even think about it. How much will it cost to carve this block? It's not a factor, because just the overall size of the print and the overall complexity is good enough for us. We can't set the price. It will be $136 or $137 or $138. It doesn't work like that. We just have to get close. But with a subscription print, we really have to watch each one. Now this one doesn't work, it's over the top, which I guess is fine for the first one in the series. But then we have to be careful to make sure we're not overselling it to let people think they're getting a lot more value than they will. So when it comes time to open subscriptions, we'll show the first 3 or 4 designs, so people have a clear idea of the kind of thing they're going to get. We can't show all 12 because we don't know what they're going to be yet. We wouldn't want to do that anyway. It's much more fun seeing them come. There you go, look at this stuff. Oh, yeah. There would be a solution to this problem of scale difference if we had a rule with Jed where he wasn't allowed to go larger than 100% in Photoshop when he's designing. And he can go up to whatever $1,000,000%, enlarge it to the full size of his screen. He draws all these little details. Shrink it back down, I've got to do this. But if we forced him to work at 100%, it would be a different story. And that's of course what they did in the old days. There's no Photoshop, they're drawing things. So it naturally scaled itself. Whatever somebody could draw with a brush, the guy could carve. There was no scaling problem back then. How did I make the needle tool? This one, it's nothing. Just make a handle, drill a hole in the end. Get a sewing machine needle, bang it in, and file it off. There's absolutely nothing dramatic about this at all. You can maybe see the groove. See the groove in the slot there? That's where the thread used to come up. It was a sewing machine needle of the type where the thread came up the middle of the needle. It's just a piece of steel. It's nothing. A piece of wood, shaped the right way, drill a hole at the top, punch a piece of steel in, and shave it off. The reason for this is our normal steel, our normal knives, the edge is sharpened and it's a brittle steel. Remember, the Japanese knives, two steels, right? A hard steel and a soft steel. And the edge itself is a hard steel. And there's no way I can pick. It's got a slice, it's got a cut. I can't pick. This one isn't a Japanese knife. It's a piece of stainless steel, a sewing machine needle. And I can pick all I want and it won't break. This is how profitable are these? What do you mean? You mean the subscription prints? I can't tell you in terms of pennies per print. The system as a whole works for us. We pay general royalty, we pay for the paper, we pay the printers, we pay the carvers. We try and set the price at a way where we can make all those things add up. I haven't set the price yet for this one because I still don't know. After we do some test printing, I will know how much it costs to make this, then we'll set our price. Oh, too many questions. Is it possible to open a second shop in Canada? Like who? Well, who would go over there? What? We don't have enough people to work for us as it is. So. Anyway, sorry, gotta get going. Cameron's coming this morning. Given the amount of work that's on his desk, he's probably going to be here a bit early today, I think, and he can answer some questions and stuff here. So. He's going to be eager to get upstairs and get to his own work, but he and I are going to have to work on a bunch of things together before he starts. I've got to bring him up to date on what's happened over the last 10 days and stuff like this. It's been busy. It's been busy, busy, busy. Even though the Fisherman print is not as staggeringly popular as the Owl one last year, it's still a huge bestseller. I was a bit concerned about that because it wasn't the same sales figures as last year. But then when I stepped back, the other day, was it Friday, I had a look at it, it's already our second biggest selling print in our Hunger Clubs series. So actually, I was too negative about it because it wasn't the same as the Owl. It's another wonderful hit. So. And Harada-san is going to be so happy. He doesn't even know we've made it yet. Today's Monday. He might be here today. He comes on Monday sometimes to see Doi-san. It's confusing because in front of the temple here there's a tree coming up, so all this stuff is disturbed and broken. It's a bit difficult to understand what I'm looking at here. This is the highlight gray on a tree branch, so it's difficult to understand what these lines mean. So all I can do at this point is just cut the shapes that are here. I trust yet that it'll all come together. That's our imitation shoe lady, right? This is shoe lady number 2. Hearing those guys laugh just now reminded me last night. It was a fun experience. It's been a 3-day weekend here, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a festival weekend. The 25th was what they call Tori no Ichi. It's one of the local shrine festivals. It's quite a big deal. Lots and lots of people visiting from all over Tokyo. It's not the kind of festival that would have attracted the foreigners. There's no floats and parades and stuff, just a shrine festival. But tons and tons and tons of people. Part last night, I guess around 6 or something in the evening as it started to go dark, some young dude set up a little amplifier and a microphone at the corner nearby us, and he started crooning some Japanese pop songs with his guitar, smacking a little guitar and wailing some Japanese songs. And he's been here before. He stays for a couple of hours. It's no big deal. It's no bother. Just a guy singing some songs on the street corner. But what happened last night was fun. A bunch of drunks who came out of the bar street stood around him. They must have stood around him for a while, listening to his songs. And then I heard a bit of a commotion, singing with a different, more drunken sound. And I looked outside, and one of the guys, the drunks coming out of the bars, had come close to the guy and grabbed his microphone. And the guy himself was still playing guitar, but it was the drunk who was singing. So they just made a miniature duo, whatever. And the guy's friends were standing around clapping, and they took over the thing for about an hour or so. And other people started to come in, so a bunch of people gathered around as the bars are emptying partly, And it became a little, what's the word when something happens without pre-planning, just became a little off-the-cuff event where all these drunks were standing around wailing at the top of their lungs, a couple of them grabbing a microphone in turn, and the poor guy who was trying to do the busking was just doing the background accompaniment, I don't know anything about these songs. These are all Japanese pop songs from whatever. These were salarymen who were drunk, so maybe it's Japanese pop songs from 10, 15 years back or something. I don't know. Impromptu concert, like outdoor karaoke with a live musician. I never could get Japanese pop music, I don't know. It's something to do with the way that the syllables don't ever seem to match with words. Look at all this chat. Oh yeah. Look at all this chat. Sorry to ignore this stuff, guys. Excuse me. Talking about sitting on the floor. We don't sit on the floor, actually. We all sit on seats. Our legs go down into the floor. As I'm sitting now, I'm on a bench. My legs are down. I'm totally comfortable, slightly leaning forward. The bench is angled a bit towards me. Completely comfortable. No stress at the body at all. These lines here look like sort of random shapes or something, but they're absolutely critical about where they go, you know. If we pop up the original again for a second and see what's going on. What I'm carving right now, for example, where that little line I carved just right there, there's an umbrella will be going there. This is a person. See this? This is a head, shoulders. And that's the dark background behind them. And this is the person who's going to be standing. You can barely see it in the original on the left-hand side. But if I get these wrong, if I get just this little fraction of a millimeter off because of the scale here, then that background thing will come into the umbrella shape or other way around. So the scale here just does not match at all. So. This might be a bit of a mess, we'll see. Here's the umbrella, curve of the umbrella, so if I'm off by a fraction of a millimeter. Banging out there is the deconstruction still of the old noodle shop that was on the corner. When you leave our building and turn right, there's two noodle shops, one on the left side and one on the right side. And this is the one that anchored the left side for many, many years. It's coming down. It's the same guy. There will be a new noodle shop there. And the sign outside says they'll be ready by December 31st, but I find that a bit hard to believe. So. I wonder if I've misread the Japanese and it says it's the deconstruction to be finished by the 31st and then new construction will start next year. I don't know. It's possible. What time is it? I thought Cameron would have been here by now, I thought. It's nearly 9 o'clock to show. I wonder if his train's late today. I don't know. Did Shiba-san calendar the paper she sized the other day? Yes, she did, but she had a problem. The paper she had for that series doesn't fit into our little etching press. We've got a little dinky etching press that we use to calendar our paper. And she wants her Ghost series prints to have full selvage around the top and the side. And because of that, the paper doesn't fit into our little etching press. So she did calendar it by hand. She got a large tabletop, flat piece of wood at the top, and did every one, all 80 sheets by hand. You guys talk about what you want. I'm really getting some work done here, so this is maybe a good combination. You guys chat a while, and I'll work. Now, Cameron should be here any second, I think. Maybe he's not going to show up or something. I'm going to get a note in my mailbox. Dear Dave, I've decided not to come back. Please, no. Here he is. I just made the worst joke of the week. I said, that's it, he's decided he enjoys free life and he's not going to come back. There's going to be a note in my mailbox. Sorry, Dave, it's all over. I just said this 30 seconds ago.
When I show up.
Then you show up.
Hello, hello, hello.
I know, I haven't been paying attention to them this morning. They've been chatting about Ghibli music or something. I'm really not quite sure what they're talking about.
There's nice music in those films, so.
Wow. So have you enjoyed your time with your family? I mean, you were here Friday or so. No, Saturday,
Saturday,
right?
yeah.
So. Looks like a fun family.
Yeah, it's a fun group.
We
lot
read,
of us.
we read these days about American families that have trouble at Thanksgiving and Christmas because half of them wear red ties and half wear blue ties and stuff. I don't know. So.
No, we had a great time. It's been really nice.
A bunch of new people here. This is Cameron. He's our, I don't know.